Daniel. But let's move on and let's go into our player ratings. Tottenham 3, AZ Alkmaar 1. And let's start off with Vicario. 7s all round for Big Vic. Didn't really have too much to do in terms of saves. Got down well for Parrott's shot in the second half at 3-1. What I was really impressed with was Vicario, particularly in the last stages of the game, how commanding he was in his box. Caught a couple of crosses, corners, so that was really good. Obviously a heart and mouth moment when he was trying to play out the back at a certain stage of the game. But yeah, apart from that, cool, calm, composed, leadership ability, everything that you wanted from Vicario.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a pretty solid display. Not one of his busiest. I think pretty much had one save to make on the day. But I agree. I think the latter stages when he came and claimed those crosses from free kicks and really relieved the pressure on the defence, those are invaluable in those moments of the game when you're under the cosh and the opposition are trying to, pen you in and they're trying to create opportunities. They're trying to put you under pressure. When you've got a keeper coming out and doing that, that's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, that was a scary moment. I haven't seen it back because I don't think there was any in the highlights packages, but I think, did he just try a drag back and he missed it? Is that what happened? I'm not 100% sure.
He basically tried this drag back and then for a split second he kind of didn't know where the ball was.
Right, lost the ball for a minute, for a second, I see, and nearly cost us. I think he ended up putting out for a throw. So he ended up saving the situation in the end. But I think by and large, another top display, and he's just been so good since he's come back from injury, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been so top. So
I know
really
that makes a bit of a mockery because like when Kinski made that debut against Liverpool, we were all like, "Why is Kinski our number one now?" Like, no. I think we all just forgot how good Vicario actually is.
It didn't help that Kinski had made a few mistakes as well. But yeah, 100% Vicario. I think we forgot that we were calling him one of the best keepers in the league for a reason at the time.
Yeah. Next up is Jed Spence. 7s all round for Spence. Another really good display. I think it's better than what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, where I think his performance level has declined a little bit over the past couple of games. But yesterday he was back at it, being aggressive out on that left-hand side, contributing to the attack. Obviously, a heavy hand in that second goal with nice link-up play with Son and playing it into Dom Solanke. And I just thought he controlled that left-hand side really well.
Yeah, agreed. And much better, I thought, in the forward areas when he's going for overlaps as well. Obviously, involved in the third goal with a really nice ball into Solanke, but getting to the byline, using his left foot and getting those balls into the box. I think he actually set up another one for Solanke. He had a shot blocked as well, I think, which could have been a good opportunity. So much better from him, much better link up with Sonny. Defensively, I think Poku had very little. There was only one moment really where he got past him and Van de Ven was there to retrieve it. But other than that, I think Spence really solid. I like the way he tries to, he has the confidence in himself to always dribble himself out of trouble, and he usually has the strength to kind of hold off anyone who tries to muscle him off the ball. I think it was a solid display. I don't think it was incredible, but I think we've seen better from him this season. But I also think if this is kind of his baseline level performance, it's really, really great.
Yeah, there's something that is a bit annoying me with Jed Spence over the last 2 or 3 games where he's trying to dribble it out the back a bit too much, and he does lose the ball quite a few times. He did do it once in this game that I can remember, but I think he's just trying to dribble it out the back a bit too much at the moment.
Yeah, potentially. I think maybe he's got to play his way out for a bit.
Next up is Kuti Romero. 8 all round for Kuti, and this was much more like it from Kuti in his second start in the space of a week. Obviously, it was not worrying, but he was rusty in the game on the weekend against Bournemouth, but he looked bang at it at this game. So dominant in the air, 4 of his 5 aerial duels that he won, and on the floor as well, he was playing some really nice passes into midfield. And yeah, there was one mishap in there, that a bit of heart and mouth moment, but I think he was brilliant for us on the day, and back to the Kuti that we all remembered before his injury.
Yeah, I think it was a near faultless performance. I think a couple of poor moments. Obviously, the pass that nearly gave a goal, well, not a goal, but nearly gave a good chance away to RZ in the first half, which his pass was right into the head of the RZ defender, attacker, and to be fair, it wasn't really in a good opening. I think he had a shot from 25 yards, which was just dribbled wide, so never really threatening. And then there was one moment when RZ had that chance right at the end of the game, which I didn't think he covered himself with much glory on, when he comes rushing out to the fullback and doesn't win the ball, and all of a sudden puts Tottenham under pressure and we nearly concede. But apart from that, I thought Parrott was completely locked. I thought he was winning every single header, which is so crucial. I think with passing, again, what a difference it makes when he's got his passing ability on the ball to play players into space and play kind of progressive passes. So great to see. So great to see from Romero. Brilliant to have him in this kind of form. I feel like he's still not quite 100% there, but I definitely also felt like he set the tone early on in that game with this real crunching challenge in on one of the RZ attackers, and all of a sudden it got the crowd up, it got the players up, and we went on to went forward from that kind of moment. So that was really, really great.
And I feel like he just always plays better. He's always so much more calmer when Van der Ven's next to him. So I think Van der Ven can act as like that safety net for Romero when he's there. So it's like Romero's a safety net for the midfield, and then Van der Ven's a safety net for Romero in a kind of weird way. But yeah, good display from Romero. And we move on to Van der Ven. 8s all round for Mickey. Just slots in like he's never been away, really. What we know he's going, the recovery pace is unbelievable, so dominant in that area of the pitch. It just feels like that no player has a chance when he's going for the ball. And yeah, like I said, just so dominant. As dominant as Romero was in the air, Mickey was as dominant on the ground. And when they're together, it's just a joy to behold to watch them, and it makes you enjoy watching defending.
Yeah, the only problem is he only lasted 60 minutes. That was the only problem really with Van der Ven, because I think he was pretty much perfect for the hour he was on. And I think RZ just couldn't get near our box when he was on the pitch. They were trying balls in behind, they were trying passes into Troy Parrott, and every time they just came running into that brick wall of Mickey Van der Ven. And he seemed a lot more comfortable in this game. He seemed brilliant alongside Cuti Romero. They had that partnership back. It was great to see them together, and it was difficult for RZ to handle that. They didn't know kind of what to do when Van der Ven was there. There was one moment when Poku looked like he was going to get in down the right-hand side, but Mickey was there yet again to mop up and make sure that didn't happen. He looked strong on the ball, not getting bounced off as well. Anytime anyone went near him, he's kind of just barged them away and with minimal fuss. And obviously that pace he has, we know what an asset that is, and I thought he used it to great effect. And let's hope we have those two together for a long time, between now and the end of the season at least. But I thought Van der Ven another top display, and hopefully there's more to come from him.
Pedro Porro, the last of the back four, 7s all round for Pedro. And yeah, I mean, I was getting a little bit frustrated with him in the first half. There were a few loose passes and loose touches from him. But I felt like as the game wore on, he kind of grew in influence, and he was really pivotal and important for us in those last half an hour when we're trying to hold on to the lead that we did have. This is very aggressive, defending very well. It's just a bit frustrating with maybe on the ball with his loose touches at times.
Yeah, I kind of agree more that, like, going forward, he wasn't actually as much of a threat as he usually is. I thought his delivery, obviously, we didn't mention it, he got into a little tiff with Maddison, didn't he, over that free kick?
Which, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was I think right at the end of the first half, I think they had a free kick, and he wanted it, and then Maddison took the ball, and they were having a bit of an argument, and Son had to break it up. And Maddison obviously won the argument.
Hate stuff like that.
That he wanted it. I thought some of his deliveries from corners were all right, but we didn't create too many chances from them. I don't remember too many great deliveries from that side. But what was great was defensively, I thought he wasn't exposed at all. I thought he actually did his job really well. Anytime that was a 50-50, he was coming out on top, and I thought he had a really good defensive display for a change. So that was really positive.
Lucas Bergvall, 9s all round for Lucas, and if it wasn't for that little mishap that he had that let RZ back in the game with, just a sloppy moment from him with a loose pass that plays into Odebear and they go on and score. If it wasn't for that, he would have got a 10 because he was that good in the game. Anytime AZ Alkmaar looked like they were playing out the back and potentially springing on us, he was there stepping in front of the midfielder, interceptions galore, tackles in abundance. I mean, the guy put in such a calm, assured, measured, aggressive display. It was incredible to see for someone of so young playing in the 6. Was just absolutely brilliant, and obviously he had that shot as well. So I think Bergvall just keeps surprising me every week, and I think that was his best display in a Spurs shirt.
Yeah, he was strong, he was athletic, he was covering so much of the pitch, he was smooth, he was silky, he was brave. everything you want in that position. He was disciplined. He did everything with quality and with assurance, and it was with calmness, and it was such a delight to watch when he's striding along that pitch in space, playing the ball forward with brilliant passing ability, not scared to take people on and dribble, knock the ball around someone and dribble into the space as well if it calls for it. Found himself in the final third on occasion, had a couple of shots, or had one shot I remember from just outside the box, which looked like a decent dipping effort, which went just over the bar. I thought it was just a phenomenal display. He seemed to be absolutely everywhere. It wasn't just his best performance of the season, it was arguably our best performance from any number 6 this season, to be honest. It was that good. It was reminiscent of some of Basuma's early performances last season. It was fantastic, the way he was able to play, and the calmness and the quality he was able to show on that pitch was absolutely top notch. And he's just such a delight to watch. And having him in a bit of a deeper role, allowing him that space to operate in, maybe helped him a bit on the ball as well, when he had a lot more space to kind of play in. And when he's got that space to kind of beat players with, he can do that with abundance, and he can play in the tight spaces as well. But he seems to, he's the kind of player you can't give too much space to, because he can just do so much with it. And that kind of something they struggled with, I felt. But most impressively was his defensive display. Just so many interceptions and tackles, and just seemed to be mopping everything up. And any time a ball was there to be won, he would win it. He would get there first and leave no prisoners. And that was what was so encouraging about that display. And maybe we have found our 6 right here. Who knows? I think that if that was the kind of evidence of what he can do in that position, I think we're going to start seeing him a lot more often. And I said in the fan show last night, maybe we found our Gravenberch, and he did kind of remind me a lot of Gravenberch, the way he was playing yesterday, just the way he operates in that position, and a player who's kind of moulded from an 8 into a 6 in a similar kind of trajectory. Maybe that's kind of how we see him as well. It'll be interesting to see how he develops.
There's only one question. If Caicedo's worth 100 million,
exactly,
how much is Bergvall worth?
200 million.
Let's move on to Pape Matar Sarr. 7s all round for Pape. Such great engine he showed in the game yesterday, and I feel like he's starting to reintegrate himself into the season. It wasn't a great display by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he just did so much good work for the team, just non-stop running, covering so much ground, and just covering for his players. Yeah,
I think the energy was really, really good. I think he just made sure that no one was really isolated on the pitch. Every time that there was kind of RZ were building in possession, he was just basically there to help out whoever needed help in those kind of positions. Really good pressing from him on a lot of occasions. On the ball, kept it simple, didn't do too much. Kind of, I don't remember too much he did kind of in the final third or anything creative on the ball. Kind of left that to Madison and Bergvall and those players, but I think did his job to a pretty decent standard yesterday. And I thought, it was a fairly quiet display, to be fair, from Sarr, but I think he did pretty well, in all.
James Maddison up next. 8s all round for Madders, and I was calling for the senior players to step up yesterday, and that's exactly what they did, and James Maddison was a key example of that. I thought in the first half he was fairly quiet, but when the second half came in, he just grew and grew and grew in influence. Obviously, starting off with the second goal that he scored, and he was so pivotal, taking that on the half turn, driving down the pitch, finding Jed Spence on the left-hand side. He obviously got he scored the second goal, didn't he? And the drive that I'm talking about was the third goal. So obviously very pivotal in both of the goals he scored, and just so creative throughout in that second half, and he was one of the best players on the pitch in the second half.
Yeah, I thought he was really starting to purr in that second half. I agree. First half, first half was quite quiet. Now, actually, I thought, God, is this going to be one of these Madison no-shows that everyone's going to go on about? But thankfully, it didn't turn out that way. I think second half, he was getting on the ball in a lot more dangerous areas. Obviously, the goal he scored was taken so well. Brilliant finish into the far corner. Only touched it, one little touch and bam, into the corner. His involvement in the third goal was absolutely phenomenal. The way he turned that midfield, the RZ midfield, and played in space and played a good ball out to Sonny. And actually, I thought throughout the game he was actually really good at finding Sonny really early, so that we could kind of get RZ on the back foot and get them running towards our own goal, which is where we like to see defences in those kind of positions. I thought Maddison was actually quite good at that, and I think Off the ball, again, I don't think it was. We've seen him probably have more energetic displays off the ball, but on the ball, his quality really made the difference. And at times, he was running the show in that second half.
Yeah.
So really, really great.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Sonny. 8 from Sim, 9 from me. Had his hand in 3 of the goals that we scored. The first one, all from his pressing high up the pitch, forcing AZ into an error. The second one, obviously some really good link-up play just to feed Maddison in for him to have his shot. And the third one, some really good link-up play with Jed Spence out on that left-hand side and finding Spence's run out on the outside. So very pivotal in the game last night with some key moments for us. And I just felt like throughout, he just had some energy about him. He never stopped running, never gave up the cause, and was looking threatening and dangerous throughout.
Yeah, I think it's one of the freshest we've seen Sonny this season, for sure. He definitely looked a lot faster. There was one moment he takes the ball from his own half and runs pretty much the length of the pitch all the way into the RZ box, and he ended up having a shot which was blocked. But I feel like on the whole, his decision-making was actually really, really good. Obviously, the pressing for the first goal was great. The assist for Maddison to lay it into his path and he can just take a touch and shoot, brilliant. The presence of mind to play Spence in on the byline for the third goal, really, really great. I think by and large it was really good. There were a couple of moments where I thought, especially that moment I was talking about earlier when he runs the length of the pitch, there were a number of players in the box who he could have picked out and decided to have a shot which was blocked. It was a bit frustrating. I did think his finishing was maybe a bit off on the day, with some of his shots wasn't quite the best quality, which we know what Sonny's capable of. But I think as a creative force, the job he did for the team was absolutely fantastic. And I've never seen Sonny so relentless for a long time.
Well,
just the way, maybe Elfsborg was the only other occasion, but he was just time and time again getting on the ball, driving at his fullback and asking questions, going inside, going outside, asking constant questions of his fullback. And that's when you know Sonny's at his most confident, is at his best when he's doing that. So I've been saying Sonny hasn't been that relentless for a number of years. So really great to see him in that kind of form. No surprise, he has a bit of a rest and we're managing him, and he's looking to be a lot fresher on a more consistent basis. Yeah. And when he's 32, we've been saying, you got to do that with him. I think actually he's at that stage of his career. So I think hopefully we continue to do that and we continue to see Sonny in this kind of form. And he's involved in all 3 goals and a real top display.
Yeah, he did actually take a while to get into the game, didn't he? Because opening 20 minutes, I thought he was fairly quiet and he wasn't getting the better of his fullback, but then something just flipped and he was one of the better performances on the night and very pivotal to us. Solanke up next, 7 from Sim, 8 from me. Obviously, heavy hand in 2 of the goals that we scored, 2 assists on the night. First one, nicely weighted pass into Odebear. Second one was brilliant with her back heel flick to Odebear. So 2 Odebear goals assisted by Dom Solanke. But he just adds so much to the team that no one else that we have can provide that same kind of attributes. So physical, so strong, so dominant. His link-up play is really good. And I just love watching him play. Even when he doesn't get his goal contributions or score or assist, he's just so pivotal to us. It feels like whenever he's not playing, we just miss such a big element in the game. And yesterday he brought all those attributes.
Yeah, two really great assists from him yesterday. Selfless play. The first one laid on a play for Odebear when a lot of strikers maybe would have had a shot on that occasion. The second one was a brilliant kind of instinctive flick into the path of Odebear to get the goal right at the back post. And both of those things needed a quality touch from our striker to pull them off, and that's what we got, and that's what he provides. There was also so many good moments when he's holding the ball up in the middle of the park when he can just go direct into feet, where Tell was just bouncing off him and he was getting out muscled and he couldn't hang on to the ball. Whereas with Solanke, it just sticks. He just finds a way to keep the ball and keep it away from the opposition and get Tottenham up the pitch. And that is an invaluable asset to have when you've got a striker who's capable of that. There was one moment the ball gets played to him in the centre circle. He's got literally 2 RZ defenders either side of him trying to muscle him off the ball, and he just flicks it in between them and just runs and lays it off out wide. And I was just thinking, if that was Tell, there's just no chance he was be able to keep the ball there, or even Son probably as well. That's what Solanke gives you in that number 9 position. So really, really great to see him on the pitch again and in this kind of form. Want to see him maybe obviously get some more goal scoring positions. He had a couple of chances to get on the end of things in the box and didn't quite come off for him. But I think by and large, in terms of a overall kind of target man's performance, fantastic.
And now the last but not least in the starting lineup, Wilson Odebear. 9s all round for Wilson. just offers so much more than what Brennan does in the game. He's able to take on his man consistently. 3 out of his 4 dribbles successful. Not only that, I think he's aggressive as well. Wins the ball back, was winning his duels consistently, and got on the score sheet twice as well with some, really good positional play, which we're so quick to praise Brennan Johnson for. But so Brennan Johnson only pretty much does that. So Odebear has so much more strings to his bow at the moment, and it's great to see. It's a joy to behold, and he's such an exciting player to watch as well. The way he can just get the ball and drive, no matter how many players are in front of him, he's willing to take them all on, and he can do it as well. He's got the quality to do it.
Yeah, such an encouraging display, especially the fact that a lot of people have been saying, or I've also been saying, he looks a lot more comfortable on the left usually than on the right, but he played on the right on this occasion and looked completely at home in that position, taking people on, going on the outside, was really brilliantly creative when he was cutting in on the inside as well, which was even more encouraging, which means even though he's on the right, he still has that ability to go both ways, which is so important, which I think is something that Johnson definitely struggles with, I think, when he's on that right-hand side sometimes. And I think he looked even more at home when he was driving centrally and had those options in front of him. He could even dribble. He had a nice pass to Maddison. He had a few nice passes out wide to Son as well. I thought they struggled to handle him when he was on the ball. He looked so sharp, and there was at one moment he dribbles in between like 2 or 3 players in that first half and lays the ball out wide to Son, and just those little moments which open up the pitch, open up the space, and unsettle the opposition, I think is what I'd use, which I think our wide players don't do anywhere near enough. They don't unsettle and ask different questions of the opposition. Odebel was just doing that in abundance yesterday. And obviously he got his 2 goals, both really well taken, especially the first one, left foot, had to just fire it into the roof of the net, into the corner, and he did that in top corner so well with a really brilliant finish to get his first goal for Tottenham. He's been here so long, and he's waited a long time for that goal, but it's well worth the wait. And then the second goal, as you say, brilliant for him to be arriving at the back post like Johnson does. It's such a great asset to have, and it's such a great skill to have. And if he can keep doing that, then he's going to get loads of goals there as well, on top of the good stuff he does in general play. So really brilliant performance from Odebear. This is maybe the game he really announced himself to the Tottenham fans as, look how good I can be. Yeah. And let's just see how he progresses.
Yeah. Now moving on to the subs, Archie Gray, 6th all round, came on for Mickey van der Ven with half an hour to go. Was always going to be a hard act to follow with the way Mickey played for that first hour, and I felt like he was struggling with those balls over the top, Archie Gray, and they did get a few chances from it. After that, I think he grew into the game and performed fairly well, but it was just concerning, Mickey goes off and then we just looked all out at sea and fairly open.
Yeah, wasn't great when he was at centre-back, I thought. The first moment he had to defend, I wouldn't say it was a mistake. It was just a stark contrast to what we had with Van der Ven. Whereas they play the ball down the line, Van der Ven was gobbling up everything, and yet when it was Gray, he allowed Parrott to get on the end of the ball and hold the ball up a bit. Other than that, I don't think he made too many mistakes. In fact, he went to midfield, and I don't think he had an amazing impact when he was in midfield either, but obviously maybe the fact he had to play 2 different positions and to adjust very quickly to 2 different positions led to a bit of a disjointed performance. Don't think he did anything too bad, but when you've got such an outstanding talent, you know what he's capable of, and I don't think he maybe was at his best, but I think there are probably circumstances to that.
Bissouma up next, 7s all round for Biss. He pretty much gets a 7 just for that block that he made, which could have been a pivotal block. We don't know. It looked like Vicario might have got there anyway, but you just never know. And better safe than sorry at some points. And yeah, he did well when he came on, Bissouma.
Yeah, the block was what saved it from going extra time. And it was such a crucial block as well, which he had to boot away when it looked like RZ could very well have equalised at that moment. So really dangerous moment and bailed out by Bissouma. I think by and large it was quite a quiet cameo from him. Apart from that, to be honest, just helped see out the game, add that experience when coming off the pitch to calm things down and make sure we saw it out. But didn't think it was I feel he was all right, and that block obviously saved us.
And last but not least, Brennan Johnson. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. Came on with 12 minutes left to play, 11 minutes left to play. Didn't impact anything going forward when he had a few opportunities to. But what I think he did do was get down deep, muck in defence and win the ball back a few times. Yeah,
completely agree. And I think he did all right defensively, mucked in for the team. Bit disappointing with some of his kind of attempts to counter and try and get in behind ours. I think he failed quite miserably to do that. And with his pace, we should be going for the throat at that point, getting him in behind and killing that game off. And he just didn't really impact the game from that point of view. So that was disappointing. But came on, worked hard for the team and helped us see out the result.
And last but not least, Mr. Ange Postecoglou, 8s all round for Big Ange. And credit where credit's due, because he's done a really good job in terms of the last few weeks managing the squad leading up to this moment where we've really needed, obviously, to get the win to go through into the next round. We achieved that, and I think for the 60 minutes it was a really good display when we did have our first choice players on the pitch. You're looking at players that are coming to the fore with Lucas Bergvall, unbelievable performance in the 6 last night. You're looking at Mickey van de Ven playing an hour, Romero playing the whole game after looking a bit rusty on the weekend, and all these decisions are looking like top decisions, and I was really happy with the lineup that we chose, and I think that's the lineup that pretty much won us the game. Obviously the experienced players coming in finally and doing the business for us, and I think Ange probably did a good job in motivating the team and getting them up for this one, because it's been too many times in the past in big games where the experienced players and the team as a whole haven't really looked up for it and have been found wanting in a lot of games. But this one was completely different. We looked aggressive. We looked on it right from the minute one. Yeah, his changes might have lost us the game in another situation against maybe a bit of better opposition. But I think most of those changes were probably forced upon him. The Van de Ven one definitely was. With him being out for so long, I think he probably could have only lasted an hour. And Maddison always seems to come off at that point with his tiring legs. So
Bergvall had cramp.
And Bergvall had cramp. He had to get stretchers on the pitch. So I think the changes were forced on him. But having said that, if we do go on and lose that game, he probably would have been the one bearing the brunt and taking the criticism. So look, we do win the game. I think by the end of it, it was fairly convincing, and I think we did deserve to go through that. So that's credit to him. Yeah,
and it was just a much better display. It was just such night and day to what we've been served up in a lot of other games in recent weeks this season. And the intensity was much better. The football at times much better. I think the fact that we were a lot calmer in this game, a lot more controlled, I think was a big credit to him and how we approached the game and how we got the players in a mindset that even though 1-0 down, let's not panic. We've got, we can overturn this tie. And I think we played with confidence and we played with assuredness. And I think the Ange ball is coming back. You saw it with the third goal, another glimpse of Ange ball returning. I think defensively, so much more solid with Romero and Van de Ven at the back rather than a makeshift backline, which we've been kind of be having to put up with for a lot of this season. And I think you're seeing a difference now with the players coming back, the intensity coming back. Also, he's rotating the team a lot better, or he's got options to rotate, which he just hasn't had for a long time. But you can see he's using that rotation quite well at the moment, which is really, really good. And he's keeping the team fresh, and I think it's leading to better performances. Well, look, this isn't the best we can play. This isn't our best performance of the season. I think we deserve to win, but obviously at 2-1, it was threatening that the game could have gone against us. But we stayed calm, we kept playing our football, and we got the job done. And I think a lot of credit needs to go to Ange. But if we go to the quarterfinal, if we go out in the quarterfinal, it's not. No one's gonna remember this game. Put it that way. So we need to make sure we get the job done there, get to that semi-final. At least going to be judged on that. A lot of football to be played between now and a lot of time between now and that game. But if we can play like we did in that times that second half of some of that football, then we got a great chance, and hopefully we get more settled, and hopefully you can start proving people wrong about it was the injuries that were causing big issues, and hopefully there's starting to be some evidence of that.
Yeah, I hope so. And over the past 3 games, when you're looking at from the first leg of AZ Alkmaar to Bournemouth to the second leg, I feel like performances have been getting progressively better. AZ was obviously shambolic. Bournemouth, I felt we were poor in the first half, and then when we made those changes, we got back into it in the second half. Look, we were lucky to get back into it, don't get me wrong, but the performance level was a lot better in the second half. And then this game, for the first hour, I thought we were pretty good. So
the second half against City as well was quite good.
Yes, let's just hope these performances can keep progressively getting better and growing as we get deeper into the Europa League.
Yeah.
So that is your player ratings from the